eggsack.
I remember it.
You call me a saint, but you know I'm a stranger, all willing and able to do what you want. You think I'm a thinker.
Deadly Tarantula Girl coming to you from my private serpentarium. Welcome. Tonight I'm bringing you a very, very, very special beginning to my 2020. You may not know this, but I've been attempting to reproduce Brachypelma smithi, and yes, I do mean smithi, not hamori, for over 20 years, unsuccessfully. I don't know that this is necessarily due to lack of skill or knowledge. First of all, it's been a rare occurrence when I've had an adult pair in my possession at the same time. They're a very slow growing species. They're a highly coveted species. So this is the first time I've ever even gotten an egg sac. Long story short, the pairings that I've done in the past, I believe were with girls which were large enough, but not old enough. In my experience / opinion, I believe that a girl has to be typically 5 to 6 years, closer to 6, if not older. Now, if you've bred a female younger than that, congratulations. They do vary individually, just like any animal. In my experience, though, that has been the case. I do have a sizable female. She was bred last month by a male belonging to Cleveland Noise. So thank you so much for that male. You have been an integral factor. So I'm a little nervous when I saw that she was getting close, or what I believed close to laying an egg sac. I've been watching her for about a week or two, and I'm like, she's massive, she looks like she's nesting, all this stuff. She's in the gun ammo case that some of you have seen before that has a plexi front. I actually made her a little like shield. So I've had this little shield in front of the enclosure, so she felt protected. And I'm actually just gonna leave that on here still so she feels less exposed. She laid this egg sac 2 days ago, right when the new year began. Today's the 2nd, and I'm going to go ahead and pull it. I had kind of decided to leave it with her for a week, and I am just too scared. What if something happens? I also did refer to my mentor Bill King, which you guys met last summer out of Arizona, and he referred to a reference book written by Al McKee regarding Brachypelma, which does recommend that you pull the egg sac immediately. Of course, you want to make sure that she's done laying it and it's all stitched together and everything, but it's been 2 days, and oh my gosh, if this egg sac got eaten, I might have a heart attack. As much as I don't want to, yes, I am going to pull it. For those of you who don't know what you're looking at and you're about to leave me a bunch of hate comments about how I'm the most cruel, horrible person ever in the whole world and I should have my uterus removed from my body and be murdered and all of that, because yes, people have said all of that. Mummy tarantulas do eat their young sometimes. And so for the life and preservation of these babies, I'm going to pull them. So, can you tell I'm stalling? I do have an incubation chamber ready. It does have damp vermiculite, and then I like to leave like a little, I don't know, I make like a little furrow for the egg sac. I am going to pick it up every 12 hours on the dot and manually turn it, just like a mother would do. And then this whole thing is going to go into my incubation chamber, and fingers crossed this spring, or later this winter technically, since it's just the beginning of January, I will have little Smith Islings. Okay, so it is time to do the deed, so I'm gonna ask for additional lighting, and we're gonna go to our Tarantula cam, my second 70D. Thank you, Zilla, for supplying me with this tech. And my heart is pounding. Let's do this. Okay, so I do have The tools that I'm using are fish nets, as I like to do. That's the gentlest way to corral a frightened tarantula, and of course tongs or forceps. Are we ready? Are we ready, everyone? Are we ready? I do also have a catch cup for my mom. Wow, that is a massive egg sack. Okay, mom, very clearly guarding. Wow, she is incredible. Okay. Everyone say a prayer. Alright, first order of business. I'm gonna try to move her away, upsetting her as little as possible. She literally has it in her fangs and she is holding on to it. Oh, I'm so sorry, sweetie. Yes, I know, sweetheart. She has it with her tarsi. Oh, baby girl, I know. So if you don't know what this is and you think it looks creepy, this is the egg sac with some vermiculite stuck to it. I'm gonna go ahead and water her. I've been not wanting to disturb her as little as possible, just out of absolute sheer terror that she might cannibalize. I do give her a water dish because she seems to prefer it. And then I do also mist her enclosure. You can see that her body has some decent girth on it still, but that she is like much thinner than she looked. Huge, like she was gonna pop. And I mean, this is a really big egg sac, so here we go. Nice fine mist. Oh, don't kick hairs, baby. Okay, so poor mommy. Oh, that is so sad. She's kind of looking for her egg sac. When I have moms that are really upset, what I will do sometimes is I will actually give their egg sac back to them. After it has, like if they just keep looking and just keep looking, I actually give their egg sac back to them. So this is a large bag of silk, and then this is like just vermiculite kind of stuck on the end of it. So there are, it feels like little, it feels like a hacky sack or something, but with little tiny, you can feel the eggs in there moving around. And so this is has all the signs of a nice healthy egg sac. The silk is white, which of course it's dirty with vermiculite, but it's not yellowing at all. When I move it, I can feel the eggs rolling loosely. They're not stuck together, which would indicate decay. That's kind of neat. You can see where she stitched it closed there. And there have been instances where I have opened an egg sac and I realized that it might be a little too early, so I actually sew it back together with a needle and thread. And so what I do, I'm just gonna put this in here at the beginning of the furrow, and then every 12 hours I'll actually take it and kind of roughly manipulate it and turn it and put it in the next little spot, because I used to very gently roll the egg sacs, and my mortality rate was pretty high because I realized the moms kind of roughly jostle them around, and that's to actually break the eggs apart if they've begun sticking together. Because if you have a little ova that's not viable, it might start to kind of like desiccate, and it'll start to kind of get soft and gooey, and it'll stick to the other ones, which will cause the other ones to begin to decay. And so you want to make sure that they're nice and loose and broken apart. That's the reason why eventually then you do want to actually open the egg sac. But the little fragile eggs are more difficult to manipulate because they'll pop like a little water balloon outside of the egg sac. So basically, you want to do research on the species that you're working with, and you want to open it after should have reached the, people call them ewls, or eggs with legs, EWLs. So that's the very first molting stage, and at that point they no longer need to be jostled about. And so I will be opening this egg sac at that time, as I often do after 4 weeks. Oh my gosh, for 28 days I'm gonna wait and see what happens. Now, if the egg sac starts to yellow or get kind of dense, then I'm going to be like, oh man, I don't think it was fertile. It probably wasn't good. It's probably turning bad. And sometimes I can tell at that point that it's not going to be good. And sometimes I'll open it at that time and usually it's bad news because I can tell from the outside. I just have this, my little code that I use is just the genus and species name and the date that I pulled it, which I know exactly. Normally I'm cleaning weekly and I'll be like, oh sweet, there's an egg sac, but I've been watching her so carefully, so I'll put the date that I pulled it because that's the date that I first saw it. I actually know that it's been 2 days, so I'll remember for sure that on the January 1st of the year 2020 is the day that she laid this egg sac. What a New Year's surprise. Whew. Okay, I'm kind of rambling because I'm really excited. I hope you guys are too. Oh, I also got my nails done. Did them myself. So anyway, I hope this was as exciting for you as it was for me. Fingers crossed. I hope you don't think less of me because I've never reproduced this species. It's just been one of those funny things that I've not ever been able to do. So, without any further ado, comment below how many eggs you think are in here. And winner gets a sling. How about that? I hope you guys, oh, if I reproduce one, I should say that. I hope you guys liked this video. Happy New Year. I love you all and have a blessed 2020.
But I'm just a singer, all messy and pretty, just making believe. Boy, I'm falling, I'm falling, I'm falling, I'm falling, I'm falling. Down to obscurity, don't let me ever be this alone. I'm falling, I'm falling, I'm falling, I'm falling, I'm falling. Shouldn't be trusting me, I could be making it all up, you know.